Right. Hello and welcome to Coffee with the K's. This is episode 2 of season 5. And we are here coming at you live.
Somewhat recorded.
We were live at some point.
Yes.
I don't know.
Which is better than the opposite.
I suppose, right? Yeah.
Coming to you dead.
Coming to you dead.
Oh my
It's
gosh.
very cold. Yes.
Talk about bad coffee.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
Alrighty,
Coffee tastes
well-
like dirt. Let's move on from this. All right.
Yeah.
Welcome, guys. We are here, and
We're the K's.
we are
in
the
case you
K's.
don't
Coffee
know.
with the K's, and we're drinking coffee today.
Yay, clink,
Clink, clink. There we
We're
go.
drinking Carpe Diem coffee. This is chocolate. What does it say?
Chocolate.
Caramel crunch. And this is from Carpe Diem Coffee and Tea Company in Mobile, Alabama. And,
Carpe Diem. Seize the day.
yes, it says they've been seizing the day since 1995.
There you go.
And it was...
When did Dead Poets Society come out? Probably
know.
the same time, right?
Maybe,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know.
It's good coffee.
Is it good? We just had, this is our second cup today, but the first one we had the same Carpe Diem. We had Guatemalan. Sorry, my rings are clicking.
I know, that was the
Josh
first thing.
is
And
looking at me
I'm like,
clicking my rings,
I
sorry.
should have gave you a glass, and you have to clink the
I
rings.
have to clink.
Yes.
But,
It's in your jeans.
I know.
But the other
I know.
one was a Guatemalan single origin French press. French roast.
Yes.
And that was delicious. Ron and I had that earlier. Very
Yeah, I had
good.
a sip of it too. I had some left
It
over.
was really good.
Yeah,
Very
that
good.
was- that was pretty
And
good.
then this one, and it came from Brew South is the distributor. And I follow them on Instagram, so if you follow them on Instagram, they're very funny. They put funny coffee memes up.
and
Yes,
stuff.
they're
Yeah,
very, it's very
their
funny.
account is good. You guys should check them out.
It is. It's nice, and so they guarantee the freshness of the coffee, and
Mm-hmm.
they go to different roasters. So if you order it through Brew South, they guarantee that it'll be roasted when you place the order, and then they
That's
ship
amazing.
it
So
to
it's
you.
fresh.
It is. It's
there
very
you go.
fresh.
Very good.
Makes a
And-
difference.
Oh, it does. It does. And it's also up to you to make sure that it stays fresh. So things that you want to make sure that you're doing is put it in a container, airtight container, preferably vacuum sealed container. That always does the best. And then you want to keep it away from light, keep it away from sunlight. So put it in the pantry. And make sure that you only take it out when you're using it, so it'll stay fresh longer.
So this
that
is
way.
very
Do not
light.
put it in the refrigerator, please.
Yes, we've talked about that.
Or he'll come and get you.
I will.
He
I
knows
will
where
find
live.
you. I know. You'll get a knock on your door and a very stern talking to.
Well, we're very excited because our last podcast on YouTube got over 293 views, and we want to thank you so much for that.
Wow.
That was
Yeah, thank
very
you.
There
exciting.
you go, people watching.
That was very encouraging and fun
good.
for us. We enjoy doing the podcast, and we enjoy sharing our lives with everybody, and hope you reach out to some of these coffee companies that we've been kind of somewhat promoting, because we have our favorites, and this one is
There
going to
we
be
go.
up there with
Oh,
one
yeah,
of the
absolutely.
favorites.
Yeah, this is good stuff, and we hope to bring you guys lots of value too. You know. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is great. So that was a lot of fun. So enjoy our special. This is like a dessert coffee.
It is.
Yeah,
Yeah,
this
but-
is great for the afternoon.
Yeah,
I
that
think.
Guatemalan
Yeah.
was just really yummy though.
That
It was
is-
delicious.
yeah,
Like a
that'll
really
wake
good.
you up for real.
Yeah, not a light roast, more of a.
I also made it in the Chemex, so
Oh.
and the Chemex kind of brings out a little bit more of the lighter notes. I think sometimes, so sometimes with a darker roast, I think that works better. But some people recommend using a French press for the darker roast. You know, you get more of that earthy because it sits
Yeah.
in the grounds and stuff. But yeah, I tried it with the Chemex, and I think it came out pretty good.
Well, and we
Really
drank
good.
that black when we put some cream in this just to make it. You know, it does give it a little more of a dessert flavor. Do you taste the chocolate caramel?
I
crunch?
taste the caramel. I really don't get much
Yeah,
chocolate.
caramel's the strongest.
It's a little stronger.
Yeah.
That's unusual. Usually, when it says chocolate caramel or chocolate anything, the chocolate comes out more. So, but
Yeah.
it's good. It's yummy.
It is.
So
It's
that's
good.
delicious.
Good coffee.
All right,
All
let's
right.
get to work.
Get to work.
So what are we doing?
Well, last time, I guess we were
Criticizing.
Oh,
Yes.
good.
Well,
My
that-
favorite.
the last podcast we talked about a Rolling Stones poll or survey where they surveyed their readers. Last time we talked about the 10 best drummers ever, so that was kind of fun.
That was fun. I
It was-
enjoyed that
yes,
one, and
and
I
it-
enjoyed listening back to it myself. I mean,
Yeah.
maybe it was, maybe it's a little vain, but
Well, and I've actually, being a non-drummer, I went back and I looked up some of the drummers and listened to clips and listened to Buddy Rich and listened, and
yeah.
so that was sort of fun for me. And then songs would come on and Dad would be like, "Oh, this is Ginger Baker," and this is who we were talking about, and so that was fun. So we thought we would do another Rolling Stones survey. The thing is with the Rolling Stones, it's not, it's just surveying their readers or their subscribers or whatever. But they said this was in their article earlier this month. We asked our readers to vote on their least favorite songs of the 80s. Quite frankly, you guys didn't do a very good job.
What? Well, I mean, there was a lot
You
of
guys
bad music.
really don't know what you're talking about.
There was a lot of bad music in the 80s.
It's kind of funny. Yeah, it says, quite frankly, you pick classics like Putting on the Ritz and Rock Me Amadeus, and many people on the internet violently disagreed with your choices.
Oh, okay.
He's
One guy-
starting something.
I see.
Yeah, he
I
says
see.
one guy even blamed me for the selections.
The editor?
Yes, the editor. And in quotes it says, "I make the assumption," this is the person that wrote in, "that the 20-something Rolling Stone writer wasn't even alive in the 80s.
Yeah, well, that's true.
This is
Yeah.
Mr. Michaels, Rick
Go
Michaels.
get your
wrote.
binky and shut up.
That's it. And then he says, or if they were rolling around in a dirty diaper and would have no idea what constitutes a bad song from the 80s.
Oh, man.
So then this is his reply to Mr. Michaels. He says, "I was rolling around in diapers in the early 80s. But I had
Fact
nothing.
check.
Yeah,
I
right.
had nothing to do with the selections. I even repeatedly chastised the readers for making such weak choices.
Yeah.
This week we asked our readers to vote on their least favorite songs of the 1970s, and they did a much better job this time picking some real turkeys."
Well, how did they know they did a better job? Did
According
people
to
agree?
him.
Oh,
Yeah.
according
Yes.
to this guy who wasn't even alive? I mean,
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Remember, if you disagree with the selections, you have nobody to blame but yourself.
No,
Click
okay,
through
that's
to
good.
see
That's
the
good.
results. So it's really interesting because it's not like a bunch of experts, although we all feel like we're experts in what
Because
our
we
opinion
listen to
is.
music.
Because yes, we have an opinion, really.
Yeah.
So it's all it's definitely opinion based. So we told Josh that we were going to do this, and he was like, "That's not really fair. I wasn't born in the 70s."
Yeah.
And we said it doesn't matter. He knows a lot more music than I know.
But you got to remember, think back to when you were a kid.
Yeah.
I would always say, "Who's this?
Oh, yeah, all the time.
Who's this on this
Yeah.
song?" You know.
Yeah.
And you learned about these people
Absolutely.
by that little game we played.
Yeah.
You know?
No, absolutely.
And then you were like getting competitive with me.
Right.
I'm gonna know more than Dad, man.
Right.
You know?
That is
And,
it.
and now we listen to songs, and I say to Josh, "Who's this?
What is this? Yeah.
Who's it? Why are we listening to this? Who is this?"
Old age is creeping in.
I know, right? That's it.
Yes, so it's kind of fun. I read through the list initially, and I definitely disagree with some of the choices. Some of them wholeheartedly agree because you remember. So do you want
Is
me to
this
go?
like a ranking thing? Or
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the top 10 worst songs of the 1970s.
Okay.
It's kind of a broad period of time. I mean, if you picked like
Well,
1972 and we just stuck
the
with
thing
that.
that comes to my mind just right away about the 70s was there was so much music being made.
Yes.
Right? And so much music being made and like one hit wonders were prevalent in the 70s, but they would have a massive hit and then that was it, right? And then there was a lot of things in the United States that were happening that was contributing to the music that was being created. So you had the Black Power movement. You had the war in Vietnam. There was a lot of things like that was going on.
And that made for some great music.
Absolutely.
And so some of the other, it's interesting. So here, number 10.
When was
ready?
wait.
What?
When was Woodstock? Was that 60?
7, I think.
Yeah.
It was actually 1969.
So 70s like right after that, right?
Shortly after.
Yeah. So just something else I thought of that was kind of interesting, a post Woodstock decade, So all right, there you go. There's my punch.
Okay, there we go.
Yes.
Okay, there. Number 10.
You sure you're done?
Yeah. I need some more coffee. I'll come back. Yeah.
There you go. So number 10 was Minnie Riperton's "Loving You."
Oh my God!
Wait,
I
why?
wholeheartedly.
It's terrible. Love
Loving you.
is easy.
Okay.
You like that song?
Here's the thing. Hit that note. Yeah. Oh yeah.
She can do it. Yeah.
I don't know.
That was it. That was the note.
And she was like the original whistle tone singer right
Yes.
there. Okay, so I think
Well, he said at Mariah Carey's absolute best, she would have difficulty reaching the places that Minnie
Yes.
effortlessly hit. But it's a terrible song.
It is.
Maybe Minnie Riperton is a great singer, but the song is so cheesy.
in this day and age,
That's when you
especially.
play it in
It's
your
very,
stereo,
very cheesy.
and your animals in the house go running for cover.
I know.
You know,
I think she was a fabulous singer, but it was a terrible song. So you have to
All right,
go
so
with it.
you have
was
to
the
separate
song.
the singer from the
Yes,
song.
you
The
do.
singer is phenomenal.
She was. And
Okay.
it's very sad. She died.
One-hit wonder.
She
Yeah,
died
one-hit wonder, right.
Very young. She died of cancer when she was only 31.
Oh.
So it is very sad, but she was a lovely singer. She really was. And an actress.
All right, so that was 10?
Yes.
All right.
Number 9,
right.
Morris Albert. Feelings. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Feelings.
I don't know this one.
You
It's a
don't?
dog.
Yeah,
It's bad.
It's another one
Sorry,
like
so what
that.
makes this such a bad song?
You fall asleep.
It's
Oh,
very
okay.
boring, and it's really it's another one that's just cheesy. It's just very kind of
Who is
hokey.
the singer?
Morris Albert.
Yeah, see, I don't even know who that is.
Yeah, I don't know.
Is that another one-hit wonder?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't even know if you made it to one.
Yeah. Well, he's in the Rolling Stones,
Yes,
so
he
you know.
is.
His claim to fame.
Right, there you
I
go.
was on the 10 worst.
Hey, they say all publicity is good, right? There's no
Yeah.
such thing as bad publicity. Yeah.
Yeah, it was just that was a boring song. It was. So number 8, Bo Donaldson and the Haywards with Billy.
I like that
don't be
song.
A hero. Don't go.
Yeah, I actually like that song too. Why do
Yeah.
people hate it?
I don't. They.
It's catchy. It gets stuck in your head.
Yeah.
I
It's,
know, because he actually talks about people think he was talking about the Vietnam War, but actually about the American Civil War.
Oh, really?
That's what it says. But much like MASH, it was about the Korean War, but really about Vietnam. People,
Yeah.
I mean, it was all kind of mixed up.
Yeah, correlation.
Yes. So,
Yeah. But that goes back to what I was saying about the 70s.
It was
This
their
is the
only
kind of
hit.
stuff.
They were a one-hit
One-hit wonder. Another one-hit
Yeah.
wonder. Yeah, see, that's
But
why I
I-
said a
that-
lot of that out of
That
the
song
70s.
was sort of catchy. Like it had a hook. I
Yeah.
don't know. It wasn't as boring.
Yeah.
You know.
It's kind of a feel-good song.
It was, and it was still tagging on to like some of the war songs. from
Did they
the
say why
60s.
people hate it? Just because of that? Because it's about,
Not
war or
really.
whatever?
Yeah, they.
Okay. I don't know.
Yeah.
All right. And
they
that's
don't-
number what?
That's
9.
8.
8?
8.
Yeah.
All right.
And then this one I would agree with. This is number 7, Terry Jack's "Seasons in the Sun."
Yeah.
It's a song about tragedy.
Yes.
We had joy, we had fun.
Oh, yeah,
we
we
had
had
seasons in the sun. Yeah,
So there's no hook in that song.
I know, right? No, for real.
Seasons.
The listeners are going,
Yeah. Yeah.
I know.
That's it.
that's not such a bad
You know,
song.
honestly, I think if somebody were to redo that one today, and they did it with a guitar and maybe some
Usher?
strings, yeah, you get Usher. Usher could do, Usher would nail that.
yeah.
Come on, all right. Usher would bring it back. Absolutely.
Well, it was kind of a deep song. I mean, it had like
I remember the first time I heard it, I think this was really depressing.
It's
Goodbye,
a-
my friends, it's time to die. And I'm
Yes,
like,
it
it's
is.
really, and it's got this ding, ding,
Yeah,
ding,
nice
ding, 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 ding,
happy,
ding, yeah,
smiling,
right?
kiss
Yeah.
your friend goodbye song.
Right. So if it was a little bit, so that's why I think
that's
like
why I think it was voted.
slower, a little more reflective. I think it could have been done differently.
It is a depressing song.
It's a
It is
depressing
not
song.
something.
They're trying not to make. He's trying not to make it depressing. He's trying to
We
make
had
it.
joy. Yeah. It's sad. It's a sad song. It is a sad song. Number 6. Now I don't think this one should be on there either. This is number 6. Rupert Holmes, Escape. The Pina Colada song.
Oh, get out of here! Come on! I like pina coladas.
I know.
And getting lost in the rain.
I know.
This is a person who
If you're
doesn't
not
drink.
into
It's-
your-
Yeah,
Put
come
them on
on,
the
come
list.
on. Like
Half a brain.
everybody, look. You could be in a totally bad mood, and then that song comes on. And even if you hate the song, you just
sing
listen
it.
to it for a second, and then you'd be like, "Oh, I
It's a
hate this song."
I know.
If you like pina colada, that's
Yeah.
what you do. That's yeah.
They used it in Guardians of the Galaxy.
There
that's
you go.
right, that's
I know.
right. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So I gotta. Can I make a confession about this song?
Uh-oh.
I didn't. For most of my life, I thought that this was the Parrot Head guy's song.
Oh, Jimmy Buffett.
Buffett?
I thought this was a Jimmy Buffett song.
Well, that would
I didn't
track.
know.
Yeah,
I mean,
no.
until like probably the last 3 or 4 years.
Oh,
That it wasn't
no.
Jimmy. I know.
Oh,
I'm
no.
kind of embarrassed.
Come on.
Yes, I learn a lot from
Yeah.
my students.
You know, and who did it? Because I can't remember who did it.
Rupert Holmes.
Yeah,
That's why.
yeah, that's why
I
you
mean,
don't know who
and
that
he
is.
wrote it.
Yeah, and the
Yep.
guitar solo is awesome in that one.
Yeah.
Like, because it's syncopated rhythm, and then he just do 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 do. You know, he's just holding those notes like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, they're wrong.
So, yeah.
Everybody's wrong.
Yeah, I know. So see what I mean? I definitely agree. Now this one definitely should be on the list of one of the worst songs.
All right, what number are we on?
5.
Okay.
The Captain and Tennille.
Muskrat Love.
Oh God.
Yeah, I was a dog right off the bat.
Yeah.
Man.
Who thought that was a good idea?
I don't
They
know.
Well, they were kind of like that.
Yeah.
They did
It's-
"Love Will Keep Us Together." That was cute. That was a good
It was
song.
catchy.
It was
had a good
catchy.
rhythm. Yeah.
And then "Do That to Me One More Time."
Yeah,
And then
that's the one I
"Muskrat
was
Love." By far, yes. And he agrees that this was a good one to put on the list. The writer.
Yes.
Oh, the writer.
Yes.
Yeah. I wonder if we asked the captain what he was saying.
Yeah. Yes. They
He
rarely,
made money off of it, so maybe he doesn't care.
It says they rarely perform these days. They are still happily married. They're one of the few pop duos in history to actually have a long-lasting personal
Well,
relationship.
that's nice.
That's
It is
awesome.
nice.
And
It
you got
is
that
very nice.
stinker of a song.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, they had
Well,
other-
maybe there's something to be said for that Muskrat Love. I mean,
There you go.
The power of the muskrat.
it's something we should look into, you know. Just saying, you know.
I don't know.
Oh man.
All right. Now, this next one probably also should be on the list, but we're going to have a little bit of controversy
All right,
maybe
this is
with
number
this one.
4.
Debbie Boone. You light up my life.
I never liked this song.
Yeah,
made
it's
me-
boring.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean,
Yes.
it's like a worship song, but you know,
Yeah.
it's
It was
it's
10
really
weeks.
Was it made that?
10 weeks at number 1. 10 weeks.
Yeah,
That's because there was nothing else. Like.
her dad's Pat Boone. He was probably
Huge. Yeah.
Yeah.
a little money.
Yeah.
Oh no. See, yeah, you want to talk about what was happening in the 70s? That was back in the days of payola.
I know.
Yeah, that's absolutely. So, for those of you who don't know,
We're just surmising. We're
yeah,
not
no, of
accusing
course,
anybody.
we're not accusing. But payola, which was a very real thing, was how they would pay off DJs to play their music, and it's a lot of times how some of the black artists would get screwed because the white artists had the money and they'd pay them off, and they'd get pushed down in the rankings and stuff because their songs weren't getting played and weren't getting requested because they weren't getting played. And payola was a way that you could ensure that your music was going to get played. So yeah, it was a whole scandal. You should look it up. It was bad.
Well,
The movie Dreamgirls.
Yeah. It chronicles that. Yeah, exactly.
This song was, it was a love song, but Debbie Boone always said that she was singing about her devotion to God.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And so it is a beautiful song, but I never really liked it. Although I love Miss Congeniality, the movie, that's my favorite movie, in case anybody cares. Maybe next time we'll do favorite movies.
Yeah.
But it's in that movie.
Yeah, because the one talent contest,
Yeah.
she sings that
It's
song.
a very small clip of that.
It is.
Number 3 definitely should be on this list.
Okay.
Paul Anka, Having My Baby. What a lovely way of saying how much you love me.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
No. It's,
It needs to be on the list.
that
It's high up on the list too.
Yes,
That's
it's
good.
number 3.
Well, yeah, because it's just, I don't know. What was he thinking?
I don't know, and I'm
Yeah.
not sure he wrote it.
Well, he wrote it like
Nobody
lot of songs.
disputes the fact that Paul Anka is a brilliant. The man wrote My Way, for God's sake. But
Yeah.
that feat alone earns him a spot in the Songwriters Hall of Fame. But this song,
it was.
They're gonna take it back. Wait,
Yeah.
They can't all be winners. Yeah.
and I don't really know why this one is on that. This is number 2, Starland Vocal Band, Afternoon Delight.
Because it's cheesy.
What is it? I don't.
Afternoon delight.
Looking up, you're working up an appetite. Looking
Oh, yeah,
forward to
yeah.
a little afternoon delight.
Oh yeah.
I know it was on like that Talladega movie, whatever, Ricky
Was-
Bobby.
Yeah, Ballad of Ricky Bobby. Yeah.
I think it was on
Will
that.
Ferrell was
It's
in that
cheesy.
One. Yeah, it is cheesy.
But it has really good harmony. So if you listen to it and get
Well, it
past
does,
the
yeah.
cheating, it's like got
Yeah.
really good 3 and 4 part harmony. It's
Yeah.
very nice.
Yeah,
That's what
yeah.
I heard
Still
in that
belongs
song.
at number
Yeah.
2 on
Yes.
the
Well,
list.
and there was a lot of that going on too. I think you could point to any number of cheesy songs that came out of the '70s, But
So this group, the Starland Vocal Band, was made up of 2 real-life couples. Both couples have long since divorced. So unlike the Captain and Tennille,
they needed some Muscrat
they
Love.
needed-
did,
they
yeah.
did. That's right. That's right.
They were going for the afternoon delight, but
It was not working for him. Yeah, there we go. So that was, and so number 1,
number 1.
which I will say, I never heard of this song. Rick Dees' Disco Duck.
Oh man, it belongs at number 1.
Yes,
Disco Duck.
Disco Duck.
it briefly made him a household name. Really? I've heard of Rick
Rick
Dees,
Dees.
probably because of Disco
Yeah.
Duck.
Probably.
Yeah.
But I don't. When I even watched the video, I chose to block it out of my
Did you?
mind.
Is that,
It's a self-defense mechanism that kicks in.
I think so.
That's funny.
Yes, so
That's
we
funny.
would like to know what you think about the worst songs of the 70s.
We're songs of the '70s.
And
Yeah,
I didn't
bring
really
the
put a lot of
comments.
thought into it. I just read the list. I didn't really think about other songs to replace. But I do disagree with a couple of those on the list, It's a huge task. All of the 70s
Yeah.
Well,
come up with the worst songs.
and you're
I mean,
asking an audience who wasn't alive
Probably.
during that period.
Yes.
Yeah.
That kind of nullifies their input right there.
No, right. Yeah.
Well, my dad says.
Yeah. Well, I mean, or they do like, what I would do is, you go and you look at, what were the hits in the 70s. You go through like a Billboard Top 100.
And you'd be
or something
comparing
like
it
that.
to like the 90s out.
Oh, yeah. Because you'd
yeah.
have to. It's the same thing like when I'm teaching the kids at school and, I try to tell them about the Beatles or, Led Zeppelin or, some of these other, bands or artists, and why they were so important because they're like, oh, that's old music. And I'm like, yeah, it is old music, but let me explain to you because see, you've had the benefit of everything that came after that. You know what I mean? You've had the benefit of all of the ripple effects of Led Zeppelin and the Beatles and, Michael Jackson and all this. You've had that benefit, which at the time when it was being made, it was brand new. It was.
They were front runners.
They were front runners, exactly, and not always appreciated. I think, and especially until later in life, or even after, and so. I think it is interesting to think about that. So then if I'm gonna from my perspective compare, then that I don't know if I could even fairly compare it, or say that this is the worst of the 70s because I'm gonna inevitably I'm gonna be comparing
lived
with
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that qualifies.
But it's kind of fun to think about some of those old songs for me. I mean, I don't know. That was... It brings back memories.
Hankering for a pina colada, are you?
Yeah. I like that song. I've always liked the Captain and Tennille. I guess because of the keyboard, and I just liked the idea that they were a married couple. I don't know.
Well, it's kind of cool that they're still
and that's neat.
And that's Pat Benatar. Who did she marry? I can't remember.
The guitarist.
Yeah, they're still a couple too. They're still together, and it kind of reminds me of that because they joined up and never looked back either. So,
it's nice. Cool. I mean, that's nice, and
it's not very common. So.
No, so it is sort of music. I was talking to somebody this week about how these songs bring up memories. So the memories attached to the songs, they color our opinion of the song.
That's why you have to have lived through it.
Yes,
lived through the 70s.
Absolutely. Yeah, so I mean, it's kind of fun to think about it.
What were you listening to in the 70s?
Me?
Yeah.
Freebird.
Yeah, Leonard Skinner.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't, and Dad's older than me just a little bit, but I just was always a little bit weird. I mean, probably.
Well, you're a nerd.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't know. In the 70s.
I love you, Derek.
That's cool now. That's cool. Nerds are in.
Yeah.
It's
I mean, the 70s, that's a 10-year span. So
what were you doing in the 70s? You were in high school, right?
Yeah.
Well, at the end of the 70s, I graduated high school in 81.
So middle school, high school, those are like formative years right there.
Yes.
You know?
And so who did I listen to?
The band.
I listened to Hall & Oates. And I listened to,
The band.
The band.
You don't know who the band is?
Yeah, but I don't think
Take a load off, man.
Yeah, I don't think I listened to them.
Really?
Come on.
Well, because let's be honest,
it's in your playlist.
Yeah.
Yeah, but look at that song's not.
The band is in your playlist.
Oh, they are?
Yes.
See, I don't know.
And then what was that band? America, weren't they in the 70s?
Yes.
Yeah. Horse with no name.
Yeah. Horse with no name.
Yes.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, but mostly, it was weird because what was your high school graduation? What was their favorite song? Probably.
It was Freebird.
Yeah. So was mine.
Yeah, but you guys.
And that's so crazy.
That's
and I never even had heard Freebird ever. So that's why I did listen to Hall & Oates, Pure Prairie League, Barry Manilow.
Your high school's like, I saw this, man. Heard about these guys in the 70s.
Yeah.
They chose Freebird. That's
check
cool,
them
man.
out.
I know.
Yeah.
Because,
We're going to be unoriginal and choose the same thing.
But
silly.
it would be funny to see because I bet a lot of people did that because Freebird was such a popular song choice for that kind of thing.
Well, it's the idea you're out of school.
Yes.
You're
right.
free.
I felt kind of stupid because I didn't know that song, but I like Barry Manilow, Elton John, because I played the piano and sang, and I wanted to do all those songs, and then that
was Billy Joel coming up around that time too? Yeah. 70s, late 70s,
early 70s,
yeah.
And
Anthony works in a grocery store.
Aunt Karen saw him in concert before his first album even came out in Rhode Island at the University of Rhode Island, and she's like, "Oh, I heard this guy. He plays the piano. You're gonna love him." And then she bought the album, and then it was like, and then all of a sudden
he became Billy Joel.
Yeah.
That's
it was
pretty
like,
cool.
and she saw him at this little club, in Rhode Island.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's kind of fun stories.
Good stuff.
All right.
Well, it sounds like a good place to take a break, and we'll be right back.
Ron Kay's music instruction has been trusted by thousands in Pensacola to learn, play, and love music. Our strong passion for teaching music provides expert knowledge and guidance which helps you succeed and have fun with your music lessons. Whether it's a bucket list dream or a desire to enhance your child's life, our music lessons are the answer. Call 850-453-9966 now. Realize your musical dreams. Visit musiclessonspensacola.com today.
All right, and we're back.
Boy, and you missed it. We were having a really good discussion on the break.
I know.
But, I think it was a very enlightening, although I already knew a lot of what you were saying, but when I came out with my album, K-Struction, we had a hard time figuring out what genre this is in order to put it on a distributor.
Yeah.
you have to name who it sounds like and what genre it is.
Yeah.
And it's a mixture of a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
You know,
Yes.
you got blues, you got jazz, you know, you got funk.
Yeah.
And there's really nobody that sounds like that, with the exception of Chris Josh.
Yeah,
Chris
Chris
Josh.
Josh.
Chris Josh.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I remember you guys talking about him. before.
Yeah, if you get a chance, you know, check
him
him out.
up.
His music is very similar to mine. He's a very
Yeah.
talented man.
But you would say jazz with him, right? Isn't that how he shows up?
No.
No.
I don't know if he comes out as jazz.
He's pretty
It's more-
funky, too.
It's very
Yeah.
funky.
Yeah,
Oh, that's cool.
Very funky.
That's cool.
But yeah, he's the closest I've ever seen to my music, and that's why on Pandora, you know, if you listen to Ron K radio, you'll hear a lot of Chris Josh.
Yes,
Yeah.
and the meters.
And the meters, yeah.
Yeah, that's funny. I noticed that once before.
And
we were
the
listening to
incredible
that.
bongo band.
Yes.
Oh, really? The
Yes.
incredible bongo.
And they're really good. Yeah, we do.
That's funny.
There's some
There's-
funky stuff in there and all that, but it's hard.
Aren't those both 70s bands?
Well, yeah.
They
At least
didn't
I'm not on the list.
I know,
man.
right? You didn't make the list.
Yeah.
I would have dropped over. Oh, Ron
Oh,
K.
yeah, that's it. That's funny. Oh,
Yeah.
man.
But, you know,
Yeah.
that you were explaining how when people do their playlists, the algorithms take over.
Yeah.
And it results in the fact that they just play the same kind of music.
Yeah, yeah. I wish I remember who I heard that from, but there was a musician, a prominent musician that I was listening to an interview, and they were talking about the problem with music today, because there's a lot of people that will say, you know, well, music today sucks, right? And you know, yeah. But you know what's funny to me about that is that, you know, your parents were saying that music in the 70s sucked.
Yes.
Okay, so, you know, every generation, the older generation says this is the worst music that's ever been made. And, you know, so it's like...
I don't know if that's a...
I think it's pretty true.
It's pretty true.
I really do.
Now,
Yeah.
now if
music changes,
It changes.
but if you do the same algorithm, you have no creativity and you listen to the same crap,
well, so this...
then, you know,
Yeah.
it's going to suck, but it's not because it's different.
Well, this is, and that's the conversation, right? Is that what was happening before? You know, if you were to get your music out there, it had to get on the radio. You had to get signed by a label, right? Make a record, you know, an actual album, like I showed the kids.
The labels held the key,
right? And so you had to get picked up, and not everybody got signed.
get played on
and
the
you got,
radio.
and then you had to get played on the radio, and
Yeah.
then people would hear it more on the radio. They'd call in and request it.
Right.
That would boost you up to the top of the charts, which
Right.
would get people to buy it more, and then, you know, on and on and on and on, right? But the bottom line is, it was a limited stream of how your music was getting out there.
Right.
Whereas today,
it's limited to your income, because I could pay to have it on the radio.
well, we were talking about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's companies that will put it on the radio if you pay them.
Oh, today. You're talking
Yes.
about today's
Now,
music. Yes,
yeah.
yes. No,
Which,
exactly.
You know, like, as deep as your pocket is, that's how popular you're going to be.
But then, along with that idea is that, you know, it's not just the radio now.
Right.
It's you know, YouTube Music.
Yeah,
it's
the
Amazon.
internet.
It's Pandora. It's, you know, Deezer, SoundCloud.
Spotify.
It's Spotify. Tidal. You know, Jay-Z's company. You know, I mean, you could go down the list of all these different ways that people can get their music, and then, you know, TikTok. Believe it or not.
Has a lot of music.
There's a lot of music that people are finding out about because of the small, short little clips
Yeah,
that they're hearing on
10-second
TikTok.
clip, yeah.
That's it. It's a 10-second clip, but then people hear it over and over again. And they say, well, what is that song? And then they find it. And so the artists are getting discovered on TikTok all the time. But so the world of music, like I've always said that I felt like now, the times that we're living in now, has never been a better time for somebody who loves music, because you can find everything.
Anything, yeah.
Anything and everything. You can find it and you can listen to it.
Well, it's almost a burden, because
Yep.
it's so much
Right.
that, you know, it's like a needle in a haystack.
Yes. And then this is the issue that, you know, where the algorithm thing comes into play, because let's say, you know, like I use Apple Music, for example. I love Apple Music. you can set up a radio station in Apple Music of your favorites. Like I have a My Favorites radio station, right? And then I can like stuff and whatnot, and it recommends. But then the problem with that is...
It all sounds
if
like
I
Switchfoot.
listen... That's... Well... Not necessarily, although I love Switchfoot, all right? Yeah, you guys know my tastes are pretty wild. Yeah. So My Favorites is all over the place. There's EDM, there's Switchfoot, there's, jazz, like it's all over. Yes, crooners, it's all over the place. But for a lot of people, they like, if they like, a lot of, Drake and, J. Cole or whatever, then that's what they're going to get recommended is artists that sound like those guys.
Right.
And the idea of somebody being an innovator, the innovators are not going to necessarily get noticed because they're not going to make it to the algorithm.
Yeah.
And the people that would listen to it, like if you were listening to the radio, you heard whatever came on the radio and you either liked it or you didn't, but you didn't have a choice because you were listening to the radio.
Right.
Whereas now, when you're listening to it and the song comes on and you go, I don't like this one, skip.
Right.
And then, or dislike, move on.
Right.
Pandora, dislike, move on, And some of these people that might be doing things that are different, that could be progressing music forward, maybe are not getting noticed as much because everybody's just listening to the same stuff.
And because they're listening to the same stuff, their ear and their taste is not going to explore.
Yeah, it's limited.
Yes, and so they wouldn't recognize good music a lot of times if it jumped in their lap,
Yeah.
And that, Pandora, Ron K Radio on Pandora, they do a pretty good job. I mean,
we've heard
I gotta
some good,
say,
because we wouldn't have had Chris Joss otherwise, and the meters, they're good, but unfortunately
every
they all
song sounds like the Sissy strut.
Does it?
Every single song
they
sounds
do.
just like the Sissy strut.
And that always comes up. But there's this what's the one that Walter Gant or something? His name is. He's
Walter
really
Gant.
Good.
That's a new guy we found.
Okay.
He's really good.
Good music.
So that's good. Yeah.
And so there's we've heard, and that bongo band, like I said, they're excellent.
They're incredible.
Yeah.
Their stuff doesn't all sound the same.
That's
doesn't.
interesting. I have to listen to more bongo band.
The
incredible bongo band.
Yes. It's a lot of fun because we like listening to Ron K Radio, and then most of the time one of Ron's songs will come up.
Mm-hmm. One. It plays them pretty regular.
It does, but there are times where we get, we always get the Sissy strut.
Always.
Oh, that's
every
funny.
time you turn it on.
That's funny. Apparently, your music and the Sissy strut, there's a lot.
Or they figure like this guy really likes the meters.
He likes the meters. That's funny.
Yeah, it's fun. It is definitely different because I find myself saying to kids, "Well, what do you listen to on the radio?" And they kind of
they don't listen to the radio. Yeah. Well, and I've had this conversation with kids before in class about how they get their music because I like to talk to them
mostly.
Well, it's a lot of different things, but I like to talk to them about how music has the music medium has evolved, right? The fact that you used to listen to records and 45s and how that got to cassettes and CDs and stuff, and how vinyl is back now.
It's back. It's so crazy.
No, it's not. It's not that it's coming back. It's back.
It's a rebellion thing.
Are we going to go back to glass?
I like to hear all that crackling in my song.
Yeah, they do. I'm not kidding.
They like
and then I had that one guy that got on me because one of those songs.
I know.
I put that static in there in the beginning, and he was like, "Man, you can't even get clear signal on your song."
No.
It was in effect.
He didn't understand how this because like all these current artists are doing it now. They're adding that sound in. Alicia Keys has done that. They add that in for the effect, it's an aesthetic. It's an aesthetic. It's all about the aesthetic, of the record spinning and sit and listen. But what your opinions about that aside, that's what's happening, and so it's funny. But the point that I'm making is that like when I was a kid, it was all just radio. That's how I listened to the radio all the time.
Oh,
it was
CDs,
radio and CDs. Yeah, it was radio and CDs.
Yeah,
and kids today, for sure, are not listening to CDs.
No.
And they're really not. They listen to the radio in the car because mom and dad will put the
Captive
radio
audience.
right. And so whatever mom and dad are listening to, they'll listen to. But yeah, they're listening to the music from YouTube. They're listening to music from TikTok.
Yes.
That's how they could have that Mario Brothers song.
That's
that
right.
is so cool,
That's
man.
why they love it.
I love that
okay,
song.
but hey, you need to be fair, okay? Jack Black is a musical genius, okay? We need to give credit where credit is due.
He is very
okay?
talented.
Yes.
And he's also Kung Fu Panda.
Yes, he is. The guy of many
1, 2,
talents.
3, and 4
You
now.
know, that was it. That's it. That's
Yes.
it. So,
Now
Kung
we're all
Fu Panda
singing.
19.
that's right. It's going to happen.
Will he ever get to make the noodles?
I know,
There
right?
you go.
Jack Black will be 70 years old. He'll
Yeah.
still be doing Kung Fu Panda. Yeah, no, that's it. That's it. But no, that's. But you're right, though, in the sense that the Pizza song becomes huge. But that's part of the reason why. And it was a huge marketing ploy that was amazing to create a song that was in the movie that, everybody would be drawn to. And I mean, it was great. It was a genius. It was a genius move. So,
Peaches, peaches, peaches.
that's it. That's
There
it.
we go.
It's actually gets stuck in your head. It's the same thing when that movie came out. That Lin-Manuel Miranda did with the house. The Encanto. The We Don't Talk About Bruno and all that.
Yeah,
it was the same thing.
it was.
The same thing. It was good music, but it was centered around the movie, and it was great. Then everybody had to see the movie because they heard the song.
That's like
and
I call it the Barbie Song. That's not
Yeah,
the name of the
yeah.
song, but it's called What Was I Made For, which is an absolutely beautiful song.
Billie
and,
Eilish. Yeah.
and all my sopranos are singing it because it's very hard to sing, and I haven't seen the movie, but that song
Yeah.
is beautiful.
Yeah.
So, I was thinking about that a lot of music that becomes popular, it's because of a
It
movie.
won a Grammy, didn't it?
It did.
It
Yeah,
did.
she won a
Oh.
Grammy for best song, I
It's
believe.
beautiful. It really
Yeah.
is beautiful. I want to see it. I want to see the Barbie, movie. Yes, I
We'll have to
haven't
watch
seen
the
it.
We'll have to watch the Barbie movie.
We'll
So-
have a pina colada and
There we go. That's it. Well, here, we have to talk about the elephant in the room.
oh my.
Yes.
Represent.
There
we go.
There you go. Go Browns.
Go Browns.
Yes. Well, so the Super Bowl, we had the Super Bowl. It was fun. I don't know. There were some people that were saying it wasn't that great of a game.
It was a
I
great
thought it was
game.
an awesome game.
Yeah, it was very
It was
Yeah.
great. It was probably,
going back and
if
forth
you were a
and winning
49ers
overtime.
true fan, you were probably dying.
Yeah, it broke your heart.
Oh, yeah.
My opinion, I felt like the 49ers were the better team.
Yeah.
It
But
just,
it was quintessential Patrick Mahomes.
Yes, it
Absolutely.
was. Yes, and
He's-
you can't,
he always does that.
That's what he does.
He pulls it out.
Yeah.
I mean, he seems like a pretty, phenomenal football player.
He's
Yeah.
a pretty nice
Yeah.
guy, too.
And
Yeah.
yes.
Straight up guy.
But I've been talking
You don't
to...
see him pushing Coach Reed around.
Yeah, I know. I appreciate the fact that his brother called him out on
Oh
that.
yeah, a lot of people
Yeah.
called him out on
Yeah.
that. I
Well,
mean,
but
he
They
was
they
like-
needed
were
to.
they were gonna
He
do
was a
that.
big baby.
Yes.
Yes.
And he was trying to say that, like, well, that's the kind of relationship. And then
Oh, bull.
eventually he caved and he was like, no, I apologize to him. It was wrong. I shouldn't have done that.
Since
Yeah.
you're
He was
embarrassing
like-
me in
Yeah,
front
that
of
was pretty
millions
much.
of people
I know.
right here.
That's
I
pretty
guess
much
I'll
what
fess
happened.
up.
But it
That's pretty
was a
much what
great
happened.
game. I thought.
Yeah.
I thought it was a very good game. It was kind of funny because one of those comedians I follow on Instagram that does all the football stuff and he plays all the different roles. I don't remember his
Oh,
name.
yeah.
Yeah.
But he did a thing about like, oh, who are going to root for in the Super Bowl? I don't
Oh,
really
yeah.
care about either team, And
Is
it
that,
was just funny.
that's the benched by Brad or something
Yeah,
like that.
it was pretty
that
funny
guy's
because I kind of
hilarious.
felt the same way. I mean, we all were rooting for the 49ers, and everybody was like, well, that's a dynasty because they've won
yeah.
a lot.
Joe
They've won
Montana.
more than the Chiefs have won,
Yes,
but
in history, right.
that was past
Long time
history,
ago.
not recent. And Brock
Well, and how
Purdy,
could you
we
not
just-
like the story of Brock
Yeah,
Purdy, Mr.
yeah.
Irrelevant,
I know, yeah.
coming
Right.
back, and
Yeah.
everybody throwing Debo Samuel out. Oh, he's an old man, he
Right.
can't play anymore, and him coming back. Come on, I mean,
And there
like,
was a lot of
pretty
talk
phenomenal.
that
yeah,
that somehow like something got messed up with the the instructions for the
For the
overtime.
overtime.
But that's the coach. I mean, the coach should know what the rules are.
Well,
So-
and he said it wasn't that he didn't know the rules. He just made a bad call. Like
He
he was like,
And
he
that
thought
was
that was
bad.
the better, that was going to be the better choice.
Because they might have won if they
Yeah.
deferred and let the Chiefs go first.
But I
who
think,
knows?
you could always, and we do this with the Browns all the time. You see one bad thing and you say, see, it's all that because of that one. And it's like, okay, you got to go back.
Picking on me.
Yeah, well, you got to go back and
No,
look at
you must have a tender conscience.
Don't
about
say anything
something.
about that.
No,
But if
You want me to talk about the Browns?
not
Hang on.
really.
hang on, let me finish my point here, okay?
Okay, point.
You could go back and say that it was all because of that one call, okay? But you could also look at the fact that they had several turnovers and didn't score.
Yeah.
So, I don't think it would be fair to say it was that one
It's
thing.
the nature of the game.
Yeah.
It is.
It's
it
like the
is.
kicker that misses a
Yes,
field
it's the
goal.
same thing,
Right.
right? You blame the entire loss on him, but that's not really fair because they shouldn't have put him in that position to begin with.
Right.
Right.
So, I mean,
Well, it was a fun game. We had a good time. I thought it was we talked about how being that it was so close, it was exciting.
yeah.
So for people with really no skin in the game, it was definitely entertaining and fun.
Yeah, I thought it was good.
So
You
yeah.
jump right over the Browns.
Yes.
Because, they made the playoffs and then they didn't let down. They didn't disappoint because they flopped on their faces.
Yes, they
that
did.
was just
And,
that was
you
very
know,
It was
disappointing.
a bad game.
It was
And,
terrible.
well, and I blame the coaching staff.
Of
because
course.
they were not prepared. They didn't psych them out in the locker room.
No, it
At
was
halftime,
awful.
he's telling them, one and done.
Mm-hmm.
We just win this one game, and that's it. That's all we got to worry about.
Yeah, 1-0.
And the other team's like, you get out there and you kick some ass, man.
Yeah.
And they get right in
Yeah.
their face and
I know.
psych them up, fire them up.
So he did win Coach of the Year again. And they asked him in the interview about it, and it was, well, first of all, what was really funny is that they messed up his name when they
Yes.
gave it to
Oh,
him.
really?
Yes, they
yeah,
did.
because what did they say? Steven? It was
Steven
Steven
Stefanski.
Stefanski. And then they went, oh, wait a minute, Kevin. Oh, it's Kevin. So
Ouch.
here's the funny part. And this in the interview, he said that I think it's his brother-in-law. His name, or no, it's not his brother. It's his brother. Steven is his name. So
Oh.
Steven Stefanski
He's a real
person. And so he was watching it with his kids, and they said, "Oh, we've got to call Uncle Steven." And so he called him up, and he said the first thing he said when he answered the phone was, "I did it.
Yeah.
I made it, Kevin."
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. So no, that was so we won.
But they asked him about like the getting fired up stuff, and they said, hey, we've seen you never fire the guys up, and always be Mr. Cool.
One and
calm,
done. We
that's-
just got to win
And
this
and
one
they said,
game.
is it possible that the city of Cleveland's rubbing off on you? Jim Schwartz is a fiery guy. He's rubbing off on you.
Yeah.
And he laughed about it, and he said that he said for sure they're rubbing off on him. But
Well,
then it was
good.
funny because he talked about how several times those videos that they posted of him cursing in the locker room and stuff, his kids were there.
Oh.
And that was it. He was like, after that, I had to go. He saw the video and went, oh, geez, I had to tell myself, okay, we don't talk like this.
Yeah.
Daddy was just excited. That's
But
there's
see,
nothing wrong with passion and
if that-
excitement. I'm
that-
sorry.
game where they didn't have to win,
Right.
because
Oh, yeah.
if they
Yeah, and
lost,
and
they're
nobody
still
played.
going to the playoffs.
right, they were
Right.
guaranteed.
And
yeah.
he didn't fire anybody up.
Yeah.
And they weren't fired up, and they looked like a bunch of fools because they go out there to play, and these guys were beating the snot out of them,
Yeah,
man.
we didn't just. It was miserable.
It was
bad.
humiliating.
It was like they didn't even look like the same team. I don't know what happened. I mean, and I think you're right. If they had played that week before, or even put them in
For a little
for
bit.
the first
Yeah.
quarter or something,
But
keep them in, fresh.
Everybody's like, they're going to get hurt.
that was the thing because
Oh man,
look
they're
at what
in the
had happened.
National Football
But
League.
look
That
what
kind of goes
happened.
with the territory.
Look at what happened in the league. How many guys we lost to injuries. I mean,
Yeah, it
I think it
wasn't
was
just
fair.
us.
And I think you get injuries when you're not ready to play,
Yeah.
and you go against a bunch of hungry teams.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
that's
just was
that's a
embarrassing.
reality too.
Yeah.
But he doesn't look at that. He's like, Mr. Mellow, you know.
Well,
We'll just wait this one out. Then next week we'll be really fired up, and we'll go in there and we'll just knock them out.
They were not fired up.
Well,
I don't know what
now-
happened.
Embarrassment.
moving forward, you know, we've got a new offensive coordinator, so they hired Ken Dorsey, and they got a new line coach,
And now
a
we're
new
in the
running
season
backs
of,
coach,
you know,
and so there's been a lot of changes.
Speculation.
Well, it's insane, the speculations. There was a guy saying that he thinks that it would be a decent trade for the Browns to trade Deshaun Watson for Daniel Jones of the New York Giants.
Ooh, yeah, Danny, baby.
And he was like, they'll pay his salary because the Giants need, you know, a big time star, you know, and stuff. And it was like
Daniel
nobody,
Jones is not a big-time
nobody
star.
in Cleveland is like, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Like, give us.
We want Tommy.
Yeah. Tommy, yes.
Yeah.
Give us DeVito. Absolutely. I'll take DeVito. Come on. Yeah, so no, we'll see. You know, right now there's just nothing. It's hard right now. This is the worst
It
time.
is the worst. So we're just going to watch hockey this afternoon.
That's what we're
And then
doing.
we'll
That's
just,
right.
you
Go
know,
Rangers. There you go. You know, that's what we're
yes.
going to do.
And then
So,
we'll be doing, shortly we'll be doing our March Madness. We'll get into
That's
that.
right.
for
We'll be
the-
doing that. Look forward to that every
Yes,
year.
I've been kind of looking. I watch who's winning and stuff.
You know that
you know.
Florida, they're like in the top 10 now?
No, I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
so they're looking like they might have a good push here. And so, you know, of
Fairleigh
course,
Dickinson all the way,
you know,
baby.
That's it.
Rutgers. Woo.
Yeah.
All those New Jerseys.
All the New Jersey teams. Yeah.
They didn't all make it last year into
Yeah.
the whatever.
I don't think Ohio State's gonna do anything
The
this
Ohio
year.
State?
Yeah, the Ohio State. Yeah, yeah. I don't think
The Ohio State.
the Ohio State.
No, it is. I don't like this time of year. The draft will be kind of interesting. It's usually.
Are we gonna watch that new football league that's supposed to start up?
Yeah.
The U.S.
I'd be interested.
Yeah, I mean,
Sure.
Yeah.
We'll do a fantasy
We'll
football.
see, there we go.
There we
Curious,
go.
you know,
Yeah,
just
yeah.
to see it, because if it's good, year-round football. I like
Well,
that.
right, and the idea would be like some of these guys might actually get, you know,
Tebow.
yeah. Seriously, they might get a second shot. Josh Gordon, he'll be
There
out
you
there.
go.
Yeah, that's it. Now he's allowed to smoke pot, so you know
Yeah.
he'll catch
Legal.
ball. He'll
There you
smoke a joint with one hand and
Yeah,
catch
there
the
you
ball.
go. There you go.
He's the new Odell.
There we go. That's so silly. Well, anyway, it was a fun football season, definitely. I mean, overall,
Nerve-wracking.
always, but it was overall a lot more fun watching the Browns this year because we had a lot more wins. And it's
Yes.
more fun when you're winning.
Definitely more
when
fun
you're
when you're
losing and almost winning. That one year we almost won.
Every
We
single
almost
game.
Won. We
Yeah.
almost
Yeah.
won. If we had just... And so
Yeah.
it was much more fun to win. I know that sounds very trite, but it's...
Well, that's the truth, though, and that's why it's like, you know, as much as there's a lot of things I wish we would have done better this year, the fact that we did get 11 wins out of that was 11 good Sundays.
It was a lot of fun. And
You know?
my parents, I wear my Browns hat in the car rider line, so a lot of the parents were like, "Sorry, Miss Kay,
Yeah.
we're sorry."
Yeah.
Sorry you're a Browns fan.
That's it. That's
Feel
it.
for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny.
So it was good. So.
But it's not the same though. Like when we were losing every single game.
Oh my gosh.
That was we're sorry you're a Browns fan. The sorry that we get now is, man, you guys had such a great run. You
Right.
know, if
Yes.
you could have just pulled it together.
That
you know?
documentary about Cleveland that we watched.
Yeah,
that was-
Believe Land.
That's the
That was
thing
very
about
good.
Cleveland.
Yeah.
They get right within the reach,
Yeah.
and you get kicked in the nuts.
Yes. But here, who turned it around?
Who?
LeBron James.
Yes,
Oh,
he
yeah,
did.
yeah.
That was it. LeBron
you.
James
Yeah.
broke the
curse.
No, he didn't.
Yes, he did.
He gave us a repreve.
Hey,
No,
he
'cause
broke the curse, and then we were a
because-
winning football team every year after that. Winning
And
seasons.
and the Braves, they are of the
Are you sure you know what you're talking
not
about?
the
Yes.
Braves, the Guardians.
to look.
The Guardians,
They-
going to the
They went to the World,
World
Series,
Series.
after LeBron
Yeah.
won the championship.
See, that was it. Things
Yeah.
turned
Once
around.
they didn't do that in the documentary. They didn't mention that. They didn't have that.
Well, because that was the thing. It had just happened. He had just won the championship.
Yeah,
when they
it
did
ended with the parade,
Yeah.
with him
Yeah.
in the parade.
That's it.
Yeah.
Well,
So, that's it.
So, LeBron, if you're watching, cheers.
We salute you, sir. Yes, absolutely.
Yes, I always forget to drink.
come home.
That's right, man. We'll draft Bronny.
Yeah, there we go. That's it.
He wants to play with his son. Yeah,
Play in Cleveland.
Yeah,
That'd be awesome.
Cleveland will draft Bronny. Are you kidding me? Oh my gosh. Yeah, exactly. So we'll see what happens. That would
I know.
Be, that would
I'm
be
from
crazy.
Parsippany, though. I don't know. I'm really not from Cleveland.
No.
I know.
I feel
Neither
like
is
I
he.
am.
No, I know.
I know. People ask
Somebody
all
said
the time.
something in that. I think it was in that documentary where they were like, "You don't just become a Cleveland fan; you're born into it." That's
Yes.
it. You know, like
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, it's generations.
That's
what They
it.
were talking
That's
about.
it. Yeah. They
It
were like,
is.
nobody just says, "Oh, I'm going to root for Cleveland." Like it's
No, they don't. Not even the Cleveland people.
I know, right? Yeah, sometimes that's it. Oh,
That's
my
it.
gosh.
We were watching that documentary, and I said to Dad, "Remember watching that football game?"
Yeah,
And
Brian
we had
Sipe.
and we had no furniture in the apartment. We had one
were
chair.
poor.
Yeah.
I was sitting on the floor, and then we'd switch at halftime. Dad would get the floor. I'd get the chair.
Oh man.
It was-
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah. There you go.
That was it.
Good times.
That
it
was,
was good times.
it was.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was funny.
Those are
Yeah.
Awesome.
Well, this was fun.
Yes.
I hope you guys had fun. Share with
Yes.
your friends.
Yes, absolutely. Be sure
yeah.
to join us on future episodes. Make sure you're subscribed. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Subscribe to this podcast everywhere you get podcasts. And music lessons are offered. Ron K's Music Construction. That's where we all are. Musiclessonspensacola.com. Be sure to check that out. We'll get you started on your musical journey. As we talked about the K-Struction album, that is the music that's used for the intro and the outro. So if you want to check out K-Struction, that can be found everywhere you stream music. And we thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next time on the future episodes of Coffee with the K's.
Yes.